Sorry, I forgot I had to record it. I was in the middle of cock warming. Anyways, hey guys, welcome to Telly Talk, where we talk about what's on the telly. But that I mean we talk about what's on our mind, because we're Telly. I'm Stoll. I'm Ghostface.
I'm Tyler. I'm not the killer.
And today we're talking about Scream 2, the sequel to Scream 1.
For those of you who haven't seen the movie that came out 30 years ago,
Spoiler.
Spoiler warning from the 90s. Drew Barrymore dies. No, that was last time. Go watch it. Anyway.
Who dies this time? The police lady. The camera guy.
The camera guy doesn't die.
Wasn't he murdered? No, he just left.
No.
Weirdly.
He left,
just
and it was so
randomly
smart.
left.
No, he dipped because he was like, I'm a black guy and I'm the cameraman, and those are two people who always die in horror movies, so I'm out of here. You guys are dumb. And he was right. He was so right for that. I love him. He was like, you guys are crazy. I don't know what's wrong with you, but I'm leaving. And that's why he survived, and I respect him for that. He was so right. Because you know what happened to all the other black people? They died.
Shockingly, they were the first deaths in the film.
Man, horror tropes, am I right?
Wow.
So,
really flipped them in this
the
one.
first kill, that was funny, because they were like, there's not enough black people in horror movies, and then in this horror movie, they were the first kill. But then, I have a lot of problems with the first kill. It doesn't make sense. Okay?
Why?
The girl is fine. The girl dying is fine, but she's not the first kill. She's the second kill. The guy's the first kill. And let's keep in mind, they picked these people out ahead of time because their names matched the names of the original victims, which means, like, they didn't just pick random people to kill. They specifically wanted to kill these two people, these two college students, at opening night of Stab. Okay? That's established.
They were college students? I thought they were in their 30s.
Yes, they were college students. Now,
wow.
here's where this kill stops making sense. As they're walking into the theater, they're still trying to decide which movie they want to see. They're trying to decide if they want to see Stab or if they want to see a different movie that just came out. If they had picked the other movie, none of this, like, it wouldn't have made sense. Like, they wouldn't have been able to get their first two victims that had the specific name at the specific location they wanted. So, that's problem A, right? It's like, they almost didn't even go to the right movie. Problem B that I have with it is, like, how did to kill the girl, they had to kill the guy first while he was away from the girl. To, like, then put on his clothes and pretend to be him and stab her, right?
Yeah.
How did they know the guy would go to the bathroom? And how did they know he would put his head to the stall to therefore stab him in the head through the stall? Like, the amount of chance.
I was wondering how they knew where his head was on the other side of the door, and how they stabbed him perfectly.
The first kill is very unrealistic. But it's still cool. I like the girl's death. The girl's death where everyone thinks it's, like, kind of part of the show for a bit, until they realize that, like, she's literally dying in front of them, and then they become mortified. And the shot of, like, everyone in the crowd, like, taking off their masks to, like, once they realize she's really dying is a really nice shot. As well as the shot of her dying. It's just very unnerving to watch everyone cheer on this girl's death, you know?
I have a question.
What's your question? Thank you, caller number 1. What's your question?
I am caller number 1, and I have a question, and my question is, so they were handing out costumes to everyone that went in,
right?
Which is such a stupid idea to what the movie is about, a real event, but...
Okay, yeah, you go, you finish, sorry.
I want to finish, I'm caller number 1, okay?
Okay, caller number 1, you finish up real quick.
I'm wondering, was the costume, like, just a regular Halloween costume? Like, in Scream 1, did he pick it up from, like, a Halloween store? Or did he make it himself?
In Scream 1, I believe they said that it was, like, stolen from a nearby store. Like, I think he got it from a convenience store.
Okay.
Let me look it up real quick, but I swear it's, like, he stole it from a convenience store.
I also want to know who thought it was a great idea to hand out the killer's uniform to every single person. Who thought that was a good idea? Because, like, the exact situation that could have happened did happen. Like, they're so stupid. They're like, yes, let's hand out the killer's costume. So anybody could be suspects, and anyone could be the killer. He's like Spider-Man.
Okay, so in Scream 1, they established that the Ghostface mask is sold at a bunch of convenience stores, like, everywhere in town. Like, it's just, like, a really common mask that exists. So that's why they couldn't track down the purchase.
Oh, when I was a kid, in 4th grade, when I was Ghostface, I thought the mask Scream, like, I knew it was from Scream, but I didn't know that Scream was a movie. I thought Scream referenced that one painting of that guy, like,
right, because
and screaming.
The face is the same, right? Like the Ghostface face and
that's
the
where I thought that came
painting
from.
face.
Like, that's so interesting.
Me too. Do you think that's why they designed the mask like that?
Probably.
Like, the makers of the movie?
Probably.
And, like, they titled the movie Scream, and then, like, that has to be part of a reference, right?
I just think that's really funny that they're like...
It'd be a way crazy coincidence if not. But my point was, in universe, this takes place only, like, a year after the murders, right? So imagine there's, like, a serial killer who dresses up in a mask and, like, kills a bunch of people. And 1 year later, everybody is dressing up in that same mask for fun. Like, isn't that really fucked up?
That's
like, because I thought it was fucked up when everyone was dressing up as, like, Jeffrey Dahmer for Halloween last year, when the Dahmer show came out. Like, that's kind of fucked up.
Why would they keep mass producing that specific costume after, like, a serial killer used it? That's something that they shouldn't have done. That was a really dumb
Instead of
thing.
Capitalism, man. And this is just, like, 1 year later. Like, it's very insensitive. It's crazy.
Or they should have changed it in, like, a major way so that it wouldn't fully resemble the original killer.
Right? Like, why didn't the Stab movies change it a bit?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, they could have changed, like, the face to be, like, a goblin or a skeleton face instead of a ghost face.
Fucking capitalists.
God dang it. These stupid, money-hungry pigs.
I thought the opening kill was kind of funny with the girl because the entire time she's in the theater, she's that person who's, like, yelling at the screen, like, you're so stupid, this is what you have to do to survive. Like, girl, why don't you just run? But then she ends up getting murdered in, like, the exact same way. I thought that was very ironic and comical. As a film student, how did you feel about the film class that we got to see?
Oh, I didn't even realize that it was a film class. Or that one guy was a film student.
Really?
I didn't even really... I think the film class just went straight over my head. Because all I heard was them talking about sequels. And they were just listing sequels. And I was like, what is happening here? I thought it was just a normal class. They were just listing sequels of movies.
They were having an argument about sequels, about if there are any sequels that are better than the original or not. Because this is a meta movie, and it's a sequel movie. And what Scream 2 tried to do was make a sequel that was still really fucking good. And then in the movie, they had an argument about whether sequels can be good or not. And that's why they were listing sequels, because they were like, this one's better than the original. And then...
sequels are never better.
They were just like... well, that was the argument, wasn't it?
I don't know, I wasn't listening.
You weren't listening. They, like, were bringing up actual movie examples, and I think they decided that, like, The Godfather...
Part 2. That was it.
Yeah, they decided that was an example of one where the sequel's better than the original.
Really?
Yeah. And everyone agreed, and they were like, okay, fine, you got me there.
Maybe.
I guess. And then they were, like, quoting movies. Does that happen in your film classes? Do people quote movies?
No, that's so fucking nerdy. Who the fuck quotes movies?
Film bros. Did you like that the killer was a film major?
Was he? I wasn't paying attention.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, okay, about the first killer, the reverse reveal of the killer, my first reaction to seeing him was, who the fuck is this guy?
That was my reaction to the second killer the first time I watched the movie. I knew it was him. So I knew it was him very early on.
I literally had no
For
idea
multiple
who he
reasons.
was.
I can't believe you didn't know who he was. That was my reaction watching the third movie, too. The third movie, I was like, wait, who's this again? Because the third movie's kind of confusing. Like, there's a lot of new characters.
I knew the other person.
I like how we flipped which people we didn't know. Like, I had no idea who the girl was, because she felt very irrelevant, but I knew who the guy was, but they kind of make him disappear halfway through the film, so I get why you didn't recognize him. But the reason I recognized him was because I figured him out. Because the class argument, he was very much on the side of, like, the sequels can be better than the originals. Like, he was like, yeah, you can make a good sequel, and his whole thing was he was making a sequel. And then, at some point, like, halfway through the movie, Randy and Dewey are having a conversation, and they're going through, like, a list of suspects. They're like, let's think of everyone we know that could be the killer. And then they go, you know, Mickey makes sense. The creepy film student, of course it's him. And then Randy goes, but if he's a suspect, that means I'm a suspect. So let's move on. And they move on, and they never bring him up again. And then it was him. And I was like, yeah, they wrote him off way too easily. Like, come on. It's gotta be him. Because they just completely moved on.
This is a total backtrack, but I've just been looking up the stats of The Godfather and The Godfather Part 2. And The Godfather is done better. I looked at multiple different platforms, and The Godfather has been rated better.
Okay, but have you seen both to give your own opinion?
I've seen the first one. I mean, I don't really like the Godfather series. Like, it's not my type of movie.
I've never seen, so I wouldn't know. But the whole film class seemed to
long.
agree, so I figured it was a legitimate
Well, that's a
argument.
film class. That's a fake film class. Half of those kids probably have never seen The Godfather Part.
They were very passionate in their argument.
Well, they're fake. They're written up. They're fake people.
Oh, I forgot it was a movie. But yeah, the girl following Gail around, the fake news lady who was Billy's mom, when she appeared, but, like, Gail appeared first, and everyone's like, it's Gail? Even I was like, it's Gail? And then it was like, she came in right after.
Gail. I was like, when Gail came out, I was like, no. Bring out the actual Gail. I'm like,
and then
no.
she walked in after, and I was
Not
like,
even
who's that?
like, no.
Who is that?
It's not fucking Gail.
I even thought it was Gail in, like, the fifth Scream movie. No, the sixth Scream movie? I don't know, one of them I couldn't figure out who the killer was, and I was just like, you know what, Gail's just trying to write another book, so she's doing the killings herself. I assumed, based off of the first movie, and the fact that I knew it was Mickey in the second movie, that the killer had to be, like, Sidney's age, so I just completely dismissed the older woman.
Yeah.
As, like, a possibility.
I had no clue who the second killer would have been, and then when she came out, I was like, oh, yeah, of course. Like, it's so obvious that you, like, wouldn't
on the
see it
rewatch.
because she's never on screen. She's only on screen, like, 3 or 4 times before she's revealed.
Right? And they get rid of Mickey, like, halfway through, so they, like, hide their killers very well.
Yeah, they got rid of Mickey halfway through, so that's why when he showed up, I was like, who the fuck is this guy? Like, I don't even...
Because he was busy killing everyone.
I was like, why... Who... I don't...
They,
like, I
and
didn't
then,
even see the setup for
what's
him.
really obvious? That it was the woman is when Gail runs out after thinking it's Cotton, and she just happens to be right outside the building. So it's like, she was in the building because she was in the building.
Yeah.
Did you catch that they kind of dropped that Mickey was already a serial killer, like, before
No.
being Ghostface? They basically explained that Billy's mom found him on, like, a dark web website.
Oh, yeah.
A combined black market for, like, active serial killers in the country, and then she hired him and he pretended to be a college student.
Yeah.
So, like, he's already killed people, which is really interesting, because I don't think any other Ghostface...
Wait, she pretended to be a college student?
No, he did. She, paid his tuition or something. He was like, being a college student's expensive, man. Like, I needed
So he's not
I needed help.
age, or he is college age?
I think he is, but he was just busy being a serial killer, so he just faked being in college. Like, he was in college, but, like, with the goal of killing people.
Does he realize he doesn't have to actually go to the college to be at a college and kill people?
I think he wanted to join their friend group.
Oh. He could have done that as well. And just took completely different classes than everyone else. Or said he did.
You're right. Maybe he's a little silly.
I feel like he just took her money. Like, if I was him, I would have just said, hey, I need tuition money to, like, go to this college to, like, kill these people. But I would just stolen her money and then just use it for something else.
She's crazy, though, because she completely used him and just, like, he thought they had a whole plan together where he was going to take the fall. Like, he wanted to take the fall and go to trial and, like, do his whole the movies made me do it thing and get famous. And she just killed him. She was just like, yeah, no, you're not going to trial.
You're not wasting any more of my money.
Because he was going to completely take the fall for her, and she was going to get away with it. And she was like, yeah, I'll just kill you.
Yeah.
Like, she's psycho. It's just like her son, I guess. Genetic. Do you want to know something funny? During the sorority party and, like, the sorority kill, like, very early in the movie, I kind of got the idea that it was one of the sorority girls that was one of the killers, because they kind of made a big deal about them at first. Like, they were, like, inviting them to the party, and were like, you gotta be in our sorority with your boyfriend. Like, I thought they were gonna be more main characters than they ended up being my first watch. And I thought it was gonna be one of them. And then the person I was watching with told me it wasn't. So then I got the idea of just, like, imagine a slasher movie that just takes place in a sorority house. Like, wouldn't that be funny?
Isn't that what Scream Queens is?
Is it?
I don't know, I've never seen it.
I was also upset that, like, the only nice sorority girl was the one that died. Because she, like, was staying home and being sober, and she sounded so nice, like, talking. And I was like, damn, why do they only kill the nice people in these movies?
Because nice gets you nowhere. In
you gotta be
plot,
mean and Scream to survive.
Plot terms. The number one thing needed in a film to make it interesting is emotion. And niceness doesn't give you much emotion.
You're right. If you're ever in a horror movie, be a bitch.
Yeah. You'll be in it longer. I wrote that Dewey's acting, literally he sucks. He sucks at acting. The man is not really a good actor. I think he plays the guy playing Dewey? Yeah.
I think he plays the role, the character of Dewey pretty good. Like, Dewey's just supposed to be like that.
Also, like, no, he's just, like, a bad actor. Like, it was just kind of, like, it wasn't, like, situational, where he was trying to be awkward and weird. It was just, like, he was trying to say a line in just a flat-lined scene, and it was just so bad.
Oh my god. In the third movie, there's this part where Dewey's, like, calling Sid, but then she walks in through the doors, and he's looking away from the doors. He's in the middle of a sentence. he looks towards the door, sees Sid walk in while he's leaving her a voicemail, pauses, looks back away from the door, finishes his sentence, and then very dramatically turns back towards the door.
Sid.
And it's really funny. It's really funny. And it was so bad. It was so bad. But I, like, rewatched it because it was so funny.
Also, so Dewey's introduction kind of made him look like he was a creep, like, stalking college students, because he was kind of standing under a tree, looking kind of hungry. And he was, like, frantically looking around.
Kind of hungry?
Like, he looked like he was preying on these kids. Like, and then I was like, who the fuck is this guy? This creepy man. And then, what was the guy's name? One guy
Derek?
walked up to him.
The boyfriend?
And was like, Dewey. And I was like, oh my god, that's the police guy. Also, he wasn't wearing any police
Dewey.
uniform this entire movie.
Yeah.
So I was like, who is this man? Aren't you supposed to be on the job? Also, Sydney and the news lady, what's her name, Gail, they had the same haircut, and I was kind of confusing them.
Oh my god, now you understand my
I do
issue.
understand. Like, it
I'm
would
so
cut.
glad, because I kind of felt crazy, but you get it.
He cut from, like, Sydney to Gail, and I was like, wait a minute, who am I watching now? And then I would just have to, like, see
Which
whether
one's
they
Monica
were
from
with
Friends?
Dewey. No, because that doesn't even help me. I was like, who is with Dewey and who isn't? The one with Dewey is Gail, and the other one is the other one. So, like, that's...
The other one's the other one.
That helps me.
Okay, something that confuses me is, on the rewatch, I forgot that at the end, Billy's mom, Mrs. Loomis, reveals that she was the one who killed Randy, because she goes like, because Sydney's like, your boy was a bitch, and she's like, careful, Randy started insulting my son, and I got a little knife happy. So, like, when Randy's on the phone with Ghostface and is like, your son was a pussy, that's when he gets stabbed, right? But I forgot that she took claim to his murder, and on the rewatch, I was like, oh, his conversation with Ghostface right now kind of proves that it was Mickey, because in class, at the end of class that they have together, they were like, what would you do in a sequel? And Randy goes, I would have the geek get the girl. And then on the phone, he basically goes, like, Ghostface tells Randy, like, you're a geek and you'll never get the girl. And I was like, oh, Mickey was there when he said that in class. This is a hint that it's Mickey. But then it's revealed that it was Mrs. Loomis on the phone. So I was like, why did she know such personal details of Randy's life on the phone call? So then I kind of rationalized it as Mickey told her about this conversation or something, or like about Randy, so that way she could taunt him as Ghostface. Because I don't know why Ghostface talking to Randy knew such personal details about him when she's never... Maybe, I guess she's met him because it was Billy's mom. I don't know. This is so confusing.
Yeah, that's weird. I have no idea.
Do you see my point? Like,
yeah.
Do you see where I'm trying to go with
this?
I was watching and I was like, oh my god, this is a hint at it being Mickey because of the wording. They, like, the geek and the girl, they reused it. And then at the end, she's like, I killed him because I was on the phone with him. And I was like, wait, what? Then where'd you get these details?
Do you think they have, like, little gossip sessions? They sit at a cafe and they're like, oh my god, this guy said this, he was and like, then we can use that against him. Write it down, write it down!
Yeah, 100%. Write it down! He came home from class. They lived together. He came home from class. It was like, we just talked about the murder in class today, and you'll never believe what Randy, someone in the friend group that we're gonna kill, said. And then they're like, oh my god, yeah, he's been in love with Sydney, but she keeps dating other boys instead of him. And I think it's sweet that Randy's very clearly, like, has a crush on Sydney, but he's never a dick about it. Like, she dates other guys instead of him, and he's just like, man, I hope she dates me eventually, but he's never, like, an ass about it. Or, like, tries to make her date him.
Well, he's never, like, showed interest, so...
Well, he made it clear both movies that movie 1 and movie 2, it's, like, been established he has a crush on her.
No, but, like, he never made a move. So, obviously, she would go off and date other guys.
That too. I just like that he, like, respects it instead of being, like, an insult.
But, like, he doesn't know that she wouldn't be open to it.
That too.
So, like, he just had to make the move. To see if he had a chance.
Come on, Randy, make a move.
Like,
fucking dies.
Dude's a puss, come on. Oh, at the sorority party. Why would Sidney answer the phone at someone else's house? Also, why would her boyfriend not go inside the empty house with her after everything that's happened? Why would you leave her alone? And everything that currently happened, like, there was a quote-unquote suicide across the street, so, like, why didn't he follow her in there to, like, not leave her alone? And why did she answer the phone?
Before the party... Oh, yeah, I don't know why these characters answer the phone anymore. Before the party, they weren't sure if, like, the murders were going to be a thing or not. But then, during the party, it becomes very clear that the murders are going to be a thing. So I don't know why they did that. I thought it was so smart that Ghostface kind of, like, slashed the boyfriend's arm. Because that really looks like he did it to himself to, like, cover his tracks. Like, they made him look very suspicious by just slashing his arm and leaving. I think the killers in this movie were much smarter than the killers in the first movie.
Yeah, the killers were, like, more visible. Where in the first movie, you'd, like, see a glimpse of them, and then they disappear, and you wouldn't know where they are. But this movie, you could kind of follow where they were the entire time.
I just like how smart they were. Like, even, like, when Mickey is, like, tries to convince Sidney that Derek's the other killer too, and it's like boyfriend killer, boyfriend killer, boyfriend killer. He's so funny and dramatic once he's revealed. He's like the gayest little theater boy once he reveals himself as the killer. But he's really smart too. But then just the way Mickey talks once he's revealed, where he's like, this was merely a prelude to the trial. Like, why is he so gay? And then when the second killer walks in, and he just, like, throws up his arms to the side and looks up like, haha, we did it. Like, he's just a gay little boy. He's so dramatic. It's so funny.
I feel like all theater kids are flamboyant and gay, even if they aren't.
All of the Scream killers are homosexuals.
Billy's mom was definitely a lesbian. For sure, with that haircut.
I mean,
for sure.
Look at her haircut. It was a little bit of a Karen cut. I don't know.
It was. The music in this movie was also really fucking loud. Like, I was trying to watch.
What? The 90s, man. The 90s.
I was trying to listen to the dialogue, and the music was so fucking loud I couldn't even hear what they were saying. Also, how old is Dewey? Because he looks like he's, like, 28.
Okay,
at most.
In the first movie, they establish he's 25. So in this 25. Movie, he's like 26 or 27.
And he's a full policeman at 25?
Yes.
Can you become
it's
a
not
policeman
hard.
at 25?
Yes. You can become a policeman at 18, bro. It's like, it's not a lot of training.
Don't you have to go through, like, years of schooling?
No, that's why that's a thing that people want the police to be required to do, but no, you go to like you train for like 3 months and you're set.
Wow, that's unfortunate.
That's like it's a very big like political thing that like police have haircutters have more training than police officers, and you do not have to have like a law degree or anything.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
I was gonna say that it's kind of funny that every Scream movie has at least one killing that is not by a knife. Like, it's just, like, they kill someone a different way than stabbing them. And I think it's really funny because, like, when you think about the movies, you're like, yeah, people get stabbed. Even in the movie, the other movie's called Stab. But then lots of people die from not getting stabbed. Like, they just chuck the girl off the roof. And in the first one, they crush a girl in the garage. And then the third one, they blow up someone's house with someone inside.
Who is Derek? Because in my notes I wrote Derek, and I don't know who Derek is.
That's the really sweet boyfriend who was not the killer. And he was just a sweet little guy, but he was really suspicious because the last time the boyfriend was the killer, so everyone's like, yeah, the boyfriend's probably the killer again. And I feel like Sidney must be really traumatized now. Because her first boyfriend tried to kill her and also killed her mother, and her second boyfriend died right in front of her while she, like, kind of suspected him. And then he just dies. And then he, like, sang a song and gave her his necklace that he wasn't supposed to give her and didn't care if she joined the sorority or not. He was just really, really sweet. And then in the third movie, you see... In the third movie, you see that she's still wearing his necklace that he gave her, which I think is adorable. Oh, after the attack at the sorority party, Mickey is, like, hanging out with Sidney at the hospital and makes, like, a joke, like, yeah, my crime-filled life. And, like, bro's not subtle at all, because he really does have a crime-filled life, because he's an active serial killer on an active serial killer website. And I thought that was a really funny line on the rewatch.
Do you think it was a coincidence that... Oh, I dropped my mic. Do you think it was a coincidence that the boombox guys just happened to walk right by the van as...
Do you think they were in on it?
Killed?
Do you think they were in on it?
I mean, it just happens that the loud boombox walks by as this guy's getting murdered. It's just a coincidence.
They were, like, staged, like, ready for him to get pulled into the van and then walk out in front.
Maybe...
Oh my god, they totally paid him off.
Maybe, like, the lady, the killer... Because they were on the other side of the van, so maybe the killer, like, before in costume. Maybe they weren't even in costume. They were just like, oh, hey, boombox guys, those people over there want to party. And they were like, oh my god, party. And then she got in the other side of the van, and then he opened the door, and then she grabbed him. That's
so possible. I was gonna say they were going on the other side of the van to, like, do an event, and she looked up, like, the school events going on that day and purposely parked the van in the spot that it was going on. Which
Maybe.
Is such a reach. I think it was just a coincidence. I don't know.
It seems too good to be true.
But in that same scene, you know the part where they're running around looking for, like, everyone's phone? Like, Randy's the bait, and they're looking for everyone with a cell phone. Yeah. The part where they run up to someone, and this girl's like, who are you? And she's like, Gail Weathers, author of the Woodsboro Murders. Like, it was such a serious, high-stakes moment. And she's still promoting her book.
Haven't you heard of me and bought my book?
Why is she such a bitch?
How do you know how do you not know you're automatically talking to me? God.
And there's a part near that scene too where they were talking about how, like, Gail's nudes leaked, and she was like, actually it was my head but Jennifer Aniston's body.
Yeah.
And I thought that was funny because they're in Friends together. And then in the third movie there's a bit about how David Schwimmer, who is also in Friends, was, like, an actor in the Stab movies. And that got me so I think it's really funny they keep name-dropping other people from Friends. Like, that's just such a funny meta detail. But it got me thinking, these people are known, like, Jennifer Aniston, like, kind of got famous off of Friends. So, does Friends exist in the Scream universe? And if so... Like, does Gail just have, like, a celebrity twin? Like,
I feel like,
how deep does this go?
You know that one... It's not a fact, but, like, that one thing that people tell you, that there's, like, 7 people in the world that look like you. I feel like she's just, like, a doppelganger of the actual person.
Like, she's a doppelganger of the actor, real-life actress.
Yeah.
And they, like, both exist in this universe. And but it's funny, because Gail, at some point, is kind of a celebrity in her own right. Like, she's a very famous... Like, she gives speeches, and she's, like, a very famous author and shit like that. And, like, talk show lady. Like, she, like, moves to LA in the third movie to, like, be the host of a talk show. And she's just, like... There's just 2 celebrities who look identical. That's so funny to me.
In the library where she was getting those messages from the killer, when that other guy came in, the guy she thought killed her mom, it felt like he was distracting her from something, And so that, I thought he was, like, in on it in some way. I didn't think he was a killer.
Wait, which part?
At the library, where he, like, cornered her on the other side of the wall.
Cotton?
He, like, took her away from, like, her friend, away from the officers, the detectives, and cornered her. And I thought he was distracting her in some way to, like...
I think he just went, okay, Cotton is a very simple man. He just wants to be famous. And he just wants what's best for Cotton. And I think, genuinely, he just went, oh, hey, this is a good time where Sydney's alone that I can go talk to her about being on a talk show with me. Like, I'm so certain he was just waiting for a good moment Sydney was alone, and that was just a very bad timed moment. Because he's so interesting, because he's, like, he's not, like, a bad person or a particularly good person. Like, he does the right thing when it comes down to it, but he's also very, very selfish, you know?
Yeah.
He's a very interesting character. I liked him kind of being the hero a little bit, where he, like, kind of almost made it seem like he wasn't gonna help Sydney, but then did. Like, he pulled that off very well.
I only recognized him, like, I only continuously recognized him because he plays a character in the X-Men movies, and I recognized him from that, but he was so much younger than the role he plays in the X-Men movies, so I was like, oh my god, it's that guy.
Oh.
And then just continued
That's so
to
interesting.
associate it to that character. When Dewey and Gale were in, like, the classroom watching the VCR tape, I wasn't really paying attention at this scene, but they were watching the tape, and then it cuts to them in the classroom from the camera from the upper room, right?
Yeah. This is my favorite part of the movie.
How did they transfer that live footage onto an already pre-recorded VCR tape? Because that makes zero sense.
Here's my theory. They were watching footage that they thought was theirs from the press conference to try and find the killer in the audience, right?
Yeah.
Okay, here's my theory. If you look at the footage closely, Mrs. Loomis is in the audience. She was in the movie, and then if you look at the footage, you can see her on the footage, which I think is a really fun detail. B, during that same press conference that they're watching footage from, Mickey has a video camera. You see, there's a very quick shot. They're all watching the press conference together, like standing on the grass. And Mickey, the killer, is holding a video camera pointed at the audience. He's making his own movie. And my theory is they were never watching their own footage. They were always watching Mickey's footage. Like, they thought they connected their own, but he was already up there, and he disconnected it before it started playing and played his own. And that's how he was able to transfer, like, to what he was doing.
But also, how did he know that they would go in that specific classroom?
I think he was just following them.
And he had time to set up the camera and turn on the footage exactly when they turned on the TV?
Yeah, because they had to set up their own footage and then, like, go back down or whatever. And I just
they only had to put in the tape, though.
I don't know. Ghostface are very fast. Ghostface are quick little guys.
Weren't they just putting it in the TV at the floor of the classroom?
Yeah. I think so.
And the TV was only plugged into a wall for power. So, like,
yeah.
How did they connect that footage to the camera?
I have no idea, if I'm being honest.
Exactly.
I was spitballing there for a second, but it's really confusing.
Zero sense how he did that.
This movie has more plot holes than the first one.
Like, if it was in this century, I'd be like, okay, yeah, that's reasonable. Like, I understand, because technology. But, like, back in the... No fucking way.
This was in the 90s.
This is no fucking way he could have done that.
They had more bad flirting in that scene, too. When Gale was like told Dewey that like he was cute when he's angry. They flirt so badly every time they flirt.
Oh yeah,
it's so
I
bad.
hate them. They're disgusting.
They get engaged in the next one, and then it gets called off by the fourth one. It gets called off. It's a really cute proposal. And then they're on again, off again for like 40 years, and then Dewey dies.
Also, why did they just decide to fuck in the middle of an emergency situation?
You know, your hormones are raging. The adrenaline, bro.
I mean, I wouldn't have chosen that.
The college chase scene, like immediately after the video thing, where like there's like the double-sided, like the window in the rooms, and it's such a fun scene to me. Like, I love the way that it's shot. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I love the way it's shot, with like the way you could see through one side of the mirror but not the other, and there's like all those different crevices where you can see Ghostface and Gale at the same time, but they don't see each other. It's so fun. And I can't believe Gale looked away from him for 1 second and he was just gone. Like, bro, don't take your eyes off him.
So when Sidney and what's her name, Halle Berry, were in the car together driving away to someplace safe, the two detectives...
It was Halle Berry.
The black girl.
Yeah.
That's her name. Her real name.
Oh my god. I didn't know that was her.
Why weren't the detectives, like, I don't know, skilled in combat or had guns? Like, one of them pulled out a gun, but why didn't he pull out a gun when Ghostface was outside of the car? Like, they just stared at him and were like, oh my god, he's outside the car. And then he got in the car and then killed them.
You know, you just need to never be a detective in a horror movie, because you're gonna be stupid and you're gonna die, and that's just the way it is.
Also, when Ghostface was knocked out and Halle was in the back of the car, she was crawling forward, why didn't she take off the mask then?
That's in my notes too, bro, because they go back to take his mask off, and that's when all that shit happens. But I wish they just took it off in the car.
Like, yes, she could have died,
so funny
but she was
because
already going to die. But
he
she
left immediately after they got out of the car. And how did he leave the car? Like, you know how they like walked away a little bit and then they went back and he was gone? Yeah. How did he leave without them noticing? Like, bro was just like playing asleep. He was having a little Michael Myers moment. He was pretending to sleep.
I think he was
taking a little nap.
And then
he was doing a little Michael Myers thing.
But also,
they didn't even notice he got out. And then...
But also, if he was gonna kill Halle, why didn't he just do it in the car?
Torment Sidney more. I don't know.
But like, she would have been trapped in the car. And
I don't think he wanted to kill Sidney yet. I think he still wanted Sidney to find Derek.
No, not Sidney. Halle.
I guess. I don't know. I think he just wanted like a quick getaway, like out in the open. Also, though, Sidney must have such bad survivor's guilt because she really went back, and then her best friend died because of it, and like they would have lived if Sidney didn't go back. Girl's PTSD must be through the roof. They also kind of highlighted her PTSD with the theater scene, with how she started having like flashbacks. I thought that was a really cool scene. And then I loved when they kind of did the theater chaos at the end, where she just started fucking with everything in the theater, and it got really chaotic.
They really needed to give Mickey more screen time, because literally had zero clue who the man was. Didn't even recognize his face.
With Mrs. Loomis. She's so bland, like I didn't even remember Mrs. Loomis being in the movie. Even on the rewatch, like when she was outside of the place and Gale comes out and is like, it's Cotton, I was like, she was here during that? Like, she's such a bland looking woman. She felt so irrelevant to me.
Yeah.
Mickey stood out to me more. I like that we just picked different killers that you remembered and didn't remember. That's so interesting.
Oh, when Gale fell off the stage, she like took one of the lights with her, like one of the stage lights, and the stage light was literally like cardboard, and it was really funny because you could definitely tell it was not a real actual light. And I don't think she was supposed to take the paper light with her, but it was literally a paper light.
I hope that like wasn't scripted, because that would be really funny.
Well, it's supposed to be like a prop light, where it's not an actual light if she were to take it with her. But it looked literally weightless when it fell off the stage. So I don't know.
I love my weightless lights.
They should have weighed it down a bit more.
I like when Joel, the camera guy, dips and he's like, they're like, we need to find the killer, and he's like, no, you need to have your head examined. He's funny. I want him to come back. You know what? He's too smart to come back.
Yeah, he knows what he's
smartest character
doing.
For real.
Yeah. I am wondering why Sidney decided to stay in the town. Like, why didn't she go to college out of state or something?
She didn't she? It's not in Woodsboro anymore.
It's not? I thought it was like Woodsboro Community College or like Woodsboro College.
Is it really?
That's what I thought it was.
Is it really? Let's look
like,
it up.
Why did she leave
You could be right.
the state? Like,
it's Windsor College.
Windsor College, is that not in the same area? I feel like it would be because the news lady and Dewey are all there. Like, why would they just be hovering around her before
the
new incident?
They went there because of the killings. The new incident's why they came.
But, like, why did Randy go to the same college as Sidney?
Trauma bonding.
Trauma bonding.
Okay, so Windsor College is supposed to be in Ohio.
And the original town is in Ohio?
The original town is in California.
It's in California.
Woodsboro's in California. Windsor College is in Ohio.
It's giving, like,
the police
Indiana.
cars have Ohio plates, and the microphone of the local news report says Ohio 66. And then, so she went from California to Ohio, and they traveled out to see her because of the new incidents.
Yeah.
My favorite part is the very end of the movie, where Cotton is like, yeah, I'm the hero, but there's a time and a place and a price for this, so call me. Because bro does not care about all the... He's like, it's gonna make a great movie. Like, bro did not care that, 10 people just died. What the fuck?
Of course
he did not give a fuck about everyone who just died.
Also, the original... I thought he went to jail for, I thought he was sentenced for, I don't know, 10 plus years. When they said that he was only in jail for a year, and I was like, this man is so mad for going to jail for only a year.
To be fair, he was on death row. He was supposed to, be killed. If they wouldn't have cleared his name. They said they were gonna gas him.
Oh, that makes more sense. I was
if his name didn't get cleared.
Only a year and he's that mad, dude? Seriously? I wouldn't have been.
Yeah, the jail... Him being that mad about the jail thing was crazy, but I get him being mad that everybody thinks that he's a rapist and a murderer.
Yeah.
But the jail thing was kind of silly.
Yeah.
Debbie was a little dumb with her, plan to have everyone die by looking like they shot each other and she, didn't exist, because she really barely
Debbie?
wiped off the gun of her finger. Mrs. Loomis.
Oh, okay.
She barely wiped the gun of her fingerprints, and then she just tossed the gun away to the side, as if that was going to be a logical location for the gun to be in her framed scene. She's a little stupid. She's a little dumb. Debbie was not the smartest cookie. I think Mickey was the smart one out of the two of them.
Cookie?
Hot take. Cookie Monster. Okay, I'm Tyler. I'm the Cookie Monster. Thanks for listening.
You said she wasn't as smart as Cookie, so who the fuck is Cookie?
No, she was not the smartest cookie.
Oh.
She wasn't... You're not the smartest cookie.
You said smart as Cookie.
She was not as smart as Cookie, man. Oh, Debbie, you're not as smart as Cookie is.
Who was your favorite character in this episode, video, movie?
Oh, man. Sid was very badass. The camera boy was funny. Mickey was really dramatic and gay and smart, and I liked him a lot, but I'm gonna say Derek. He was a very sweet boyfriend, and it's very sad how he died.
I don't know who my favorite character would be. I don't think I have a favorite character.
You just hated everyone in this movie.
Yeah. Maybe it's Halle. Halle Berry. She was a good friend.
She was cool. I feel like they kind of wanted you to think it was her a little bit. Like, when you're watching the movie, a little bit of you is like, oh, is it the roommate? Okay, Scream 1, 4.5 stars. Scream 2. It was a good movie. It wasn't a great movie. It was fun. It did its thing well. It achieved being a good sequel. You know what I mean? Its goal was to be a good sequel, and it was. I will give it 3.9 stars.
I will give it 3.3 stars.
Subscribe to our podcast if you liked this, because we're funny and film majors, except I'm not a film major, which is why I'm not the killer, because the killer's the film major, which means Soul's the killer, and Soul's gonna kill you if you don't subscribe. Outro. Soul's gonna kill you.
I'm gonna kill you.
Because Soul's a film major, and that's why you need to subscribe.
Did you say I'm a feminist?
Soul's gonna kill you because they're a feminist, and feminists kill people who don't subscribe to our channel, because that's the
so
feminist cause. And you should also click all of the other things and buy our things and follow our things and go kill some babies for us. Toodles.
Toodles.
End recording.
Good night to all, and to all, good night.